A PBS special that includes him, and he definitely is a hero. So if we could have a round of applause for David.
Okay, I'll do this. Okay. Anyway, thanks for having me here tonight. And my name is on the wall. It's obviously a mistake. Because, there are like 12 mistakes. 12 mistakes, maybe 24. They really don't know. They've taken our names out of the book. You know, has anyone here been to the wall before? Okay, quite a few of you. There's a big, thick book when you go there. You can find someone's name you're looking for. And they've taken our names out of the book because the park ranger will say there aren't any mistakes. But there's somewhere between 12 and 24 mistakes. And the reason my name is on there is because I was injured. And I was taken off the field by my colonel's helicopter because there was no medical helicopter, which is usually the way you get off the field. And so there was no paperwork. And, you know, if you're dealing with the government, this is my breath. If you're dealing with the government, you have to have paperwork. And since there was no paperwork, there was no record, except I was dead. And so I was actually, I'll tell you, it gives a reason to smoke. I'll tell you a reason to go to, at least a reason to go to school. Everybody spoke back then. This was January 1967. We were walking down a trail. I was in airborne recon. We were walking down a trail, and I stopped to light a cigarette. And my buddy Eric Goelzer passed me. He got about 10 feet ahead of me, and a claymore bomb went off. A mine went off, and we got exactly the same injuries. I lost both my legs. He lost both his legs, and he got killed, and I didn't. We both went back in the helicopter to you've all seen MASH on TV, right? It was the MASH hospital. Just a big tent with hospital lights. And he died. I didn't. So that's the reason I say you should smoke, because I stopped to light a cigarette. You didn't. I've since quit. I quit long ago. So then I'll tell you why you should go to school, because the reason I got drafted in the service, well, there's no draft anymore. I went to 1 year of college, which made me very old, because I went to year of college and I went to work and then I got drafted. So I was probably 21 when I got drafted. And I went to, a lot of the kids I went to service with were 17, 18, so I was pretty old. So I got my own room when I was here in the States, because I was so old. And, but I want to tell you, the names on the wall, some of them, I think the youngest one on there is 15 years old. So you guys, your kids are how old? 14, 15, 14? So a year older than you guys. The youngest, I think, is 14. I think the oldest is 60. So there's a wide variance, and it goes from, I think it started in 59 and it goes up to 75. But you'll see when you go there, the names are all chronological, so it goes by year, it doesn't go by alphabetical or anything like that. And if anyone's interested, because I'm not in the book, I'm on line or channel 14E. They're all numbered up at the top. Eric knows what it is. And also in my high school class, I only had one kid killed in my high school. He's about this far away from me, on the same town. The kid who was killed when I was on the same town, about that far away. So there's three of us. We all knew each other at the same time. And I have a lot of friends that are on there. So I really didn't see the wall until about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I guess it was 2 years ago this month. I just didn't want to see it. And I have a lot of friends that haven't seen it yet, and I think it's been here since about 1983, 84, something. So it's very, very moving. And I think it's mostly 8th grade classes that go visit it. And when I was full of 8th graders at the drills. And they do have paper and pencil there you can take a look at. So if you have anybody in your family, it might be a couple generations back now.
very much, Bill. Yeah, we in our society we bat about the word hero quite easily. He's a hero because he scored a touchdown. He's a hero because he did this, that, or the other minor things. My definition of hero is go halfway around the world and fight for people who can't fight for themselves, lose your legs because of it, have the government lose your records for quite some time. And I liked your story from last time. He missed out on 20 years of reunion beer parties with your unit because they thought you were dead. 30 years? Okay, that's a lot of beer to miss out on. No, I think Dave definitely is a hero, and is well worth your ovation. Wherever my students are, we know what junior historians are, right? We may not be professional, but we're sure trying. And one of the things we talk about in my class is taking perspectives of others, and then also we talk about trying to have the freshest information. One of the things I like to do on this DC trip is not keep it exactly the same all of the time. And the new thing we're doing this year that is significant is a program called Choosing to Participate, which is by an organization named Facing History and Ourselves. And it is essentially an interactive study of community service and becoming an active part in your community. And what they'll be doing, just a little blurb here, it says, choosing to participate focuses on civic choices, the decisions people make about themselves and others in their community, nation, and world. The choices people make, both large and small, may not seem important at the time, but little by little they shape us as individuals and responsible global citizens. And this book, which I just got today, unfortunately, I was paging through it, and what they'll be doing is taking a look at actual things that have happened in mostly regular people's lives who, if you pass them on the street, they just seem like anybody else, but in actuality, they're doing small, medium, and large things to make their community and their world a better place. The one story I read was about a person who was 14 years old in Thailand when the Khmer Rouge took over. And taken from his family, most of them were killed. He was in one of the camps, and he had a friend, an older gentleman who befriended him and was teaching him some things, and that person was executed because one of the things the Khmer Rouge did was kill anybody who was an instructor of any kind, because they didn't want anybody teaching anything besides what the Khmer Rouge believed in. And then his story about coming to America and how he was treated and what high school was like to someone who couldn't speak English, had nothing to do with the culture. And now he basically has started his own organization to help kids who come from war-torn countries and have to assimilate into our country. You pass him on the street and he just looks like a guy, but actually he's decided to make a huge difference in his community. And we're going to do some interactive study with a number of these people, and hopefully, I'd like to say your kids, but hopefully I also will come back as better stewards in our community because of this program. Thought it was worth going to. Switch it. All right, New Century Tutors, you have plenty of contact information in your handbook on them. They are excellent at customer service, and if they screw up, I want you to call me and let me know about it, because they pretty much jump when I call, all right? But I've only had a few problems over the 4 years that I've been dealing with them, which is why I stay with them. Switch. There's mine on there. You can call me anytime you want. Last night I was up till 3 a.m. putting this thing together because I had some sort of virus on my flash drive, so I had to totally redo the whole thing from scratch. So you can call me, but try to keep it before 9 o'clock. Click. All right, you can get connected. There will be a number of pieces of information I need to get out over the next 5 weeks, 6 weeks. We've got the Facebook page. If you search on the 2011 Hamilton DC trip, you'll have that. That's especially the best way for the kids, but it's that Facebook page, so why can't adults have that too? And then also, if you send me an email to the email address that's in there, and just say, add me to the DC email list, I'll send a confirmation back to you, and you'll get all the group mailings. Switch. All right, about the trip. Madison 8th grade students have been going on similar trips for many, many years. Actually, I think the longest one I found was 35 years in a row. Most every one of the middle schools here in Madison go on a similar or same trip that we go on. For many reasons, I think ours is the best, but we'll hang off on that. But this is only our 4th year. About 15 years ago, one of the teachers here took kids on a trip. She took about, I think, 8 or 10 kids on a trip to DC, and it was a miserable failure. They almost came back halfway through the trip, and they had many problems, including alcohol on the trip. And so I did some things before I did this trip the first time to really put the kibosh on problems like that. First thing I did is I had monthly meetings for the kids during second semester to get them ready for a trip like this, okay? They haven't done this before, why would we expect them to be good at it, all right? Other things I do is I have some pretty strict rules. You have to act like a Hamiltonian. Pretty tough, huh? Not for these kids. And I do some things. We'll go over here, and that's one of the reasons you guys all are here, so that parents, adults, kids are all hearing the same thing at the same time from the same person the same way. All right? Click. All right, but don't just take it from me how awesome this trip is. West is in the house. Oh, come on, you're going there next year. You know about the house thing, don't you? All right, let's try it again. West is in the house. I think Kylie just lost her learning, so I think total block. All right, we've got a couple of kids who volunteered themselves to come and tell us from a kid's perspective what the trip is like to them. All right, come on up, guys.